Hari Om. Dear fellow member of Vasudev Kutum, dear fellow wave on the ocean of pure consciousness, today I would like to read to you chapter 8 of the Dhammapada, titled Thousands. Better than a speech of 1,000 vain words is one thoughtful word which brings peace to the mind. Better than a poem of 1,000 vain verses is one thoughtful line that brings peace to the mind. Better than 100 poems of vain stanzas is one word of the Dharma that brings peace to the mind. One who conquers himself is greater than another who conquers 1,000 times 1,000 men on the battlefield. Be victorious over yourself and not over others. When you attain victory over yourself, not even the gods can turn it into defeat. Better than performing 1,000 rituals month by month for 100 years is a moment's homage to one living in wisdom. Better than tending the sacrificial fire in the forest for 1,000 years is a moment's homage to one living in wisdom. Making gifts and offerings for a whole year to earn merit is not worth a quarter of the honor paid to the wise. For those who honor the wise and follow them, 4 gifts will come in increasing measure: health, happiness, beauty, and long life. Better to live in virtue and wisdom for one day than to live 100 years with an evil and undisciplined mind. Better to live in goodness and wisdom for one day than to lead an ignorant and undisciplined life for 100 years. Better to live in strength and wisdom for one day than to lead a weak and idle life for 100 years. Better to live in freedom and wisdom for one day than to lead a conditioned life in bondage for 100 years. One day's glimpse of the deathless state is better than 100 years of life without it. One day's glimpse of Dharma is better than 100 years of life without it. These beautiful verses. Let me read it once again. Better than a speech of 1,000 vain words is one thoughtful word which brings peace to the mind. Better than a poem of 1,000 vain verses is one thoughtful line which brings peace to the mind. Better than 100 poems of vain stanzas is one word of the Dharma which brings peace to the mind. One who conquers himself is greater than another who conquers 1,000 times 1,000 men on the battlefield. Be victorious over yourself and not over others. When you attain victory over yourself, not even the gods can turn it into defeat. Better than performing 1,000 rituals month by month for 100 years is a moment's homage to one living in wisdom. Better than tending the sacrificial fire in the forest for 1,000 years is a moment's homage to one living in wisdom. Making gifts and offerings for a whole year to earn merit is not worth a quarter of the honor paid to the wise. To those who honor the wise and follow them, 4 gifts will come in increasing measure: health, happiness, beauty, and long life. Better to live in virtue and wisdom for one day than to live 100 years with an evil and undisciplined mind. Better to live in goodness and wisdom for one day than to lead an ignorant and undisciplined life for 100 years. Better to live in strength and wisdom for one day than to lead a weak and idle life for 100 years. Better to live in freedom and wisdom for one day than to lead a conditioned life full of bondage for 100 years. One day's glimpse of the deathless state is better than 100 years of life without it. One day's glimpse of Dharma is better than 100 years of life without it. So ends the chapter on thousands in the Dhammapada. Enough for today. Thank you for listening.